in this video I will look at Wang Hao's white repertoire from 2019 up till present day. I will be talking about the most interesting points. I will not mention every opening. Wang Hao qualified for the candidates by winning the FIDE Grand Swiss. Let's begin. In this video, let's check out Wang Hao's repertoire. I'm going to filter out his games, looking at his games from 2019 up till present day. First, let's look at Wang Hao's white repertoire. He's played 110 games and he is mainly an E4 player. He's played it 60 times. E4, his most common response is E5, 28 games out of the 60. And after knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, he's played the Spanish 11 times. And first move to consider is how many times has he faced the Berlin with white? And out of 11 times, Wang Hao has faced it 10 times. Wang Hao is a 2700 player, so you expect most of his opponents to be top players. And he's faced the Berlin 10 times. What to say here? Well, out of these 10 games, 5 of them, he plays d3. The other games, he castles, and after knight e4, he plays rook e1. So he is a top player, just like Peter Svidler, who doesn't really enter the Berlin endgame, trying to keep pieces on with white. He's used bishop c4 11 times, and everyone has played bishop c5. Now quickly on to something different. Out of 28 games, he has faced the Petrov 4 times, and what kind of player is he against the Petrov? Well, he takes the guy, knight e4 and now knight c3. 3 games last year have all went like this. c5 is the next popular response. Out of 60 games, 23 have gone Sicilian. Knight f3, he's always an open Sicilian player. d6, d4. 10 out of 14 games. The other 4 games, he's played bishop b5 check, facing bishop d7 and knight d7 as well. But let's go for open. Let's see what kind of player he is against the Najdorf. a6. Last year, he's faced the Najdorf 10 times, and he's played bishop e3 most of the time. Out of 8 games, he's played this 6 times, and the other 2 times, he's played h3. e5, he's faced 3 times, and after knight b3, bishop e6, f3, h5. He's faced this twice. And against the h5 Najdorf, just like many top players, they like to put the knight in d5 and play positionally against black setup. It's okay to play in a positional way. What are we saying? The h5 pawn doesn't really make too much sense anymore. Knight d5, take, knight d7, queen d2, bishop e2. So he's had this position twice. Out of the 8 Najdorf games, he's played h3 twice, scoring 1 victory against Van Welle. g4, b5, bishop g2, bishop b7, castle, knight d7. Trendy stuff, a4, take. And the game went on. Interesting maneuver here. Knight c6, take, rook c4. Wow, knight e5, rook d4. Very original. Besides the Najdorf, after knight f3, next most common response is knight c6. Out of 23 Sicilians, he has faced this 5 times, and bishop b5, 3 games, d4. What does he play now? As of last year, he has never gone open Sicilian after knight c6. He played bishop b5, and after g6, we have 2 games. Now, the other Sicilian he's faced is the e6 Sicilian, in which he scored a very nice victory against Andreykin. d4, take, facing a Taimanov, and he went g3. We have an open Sicilian, but he's chosen to go positional. This is one thing I've noticed about Wang Hao's games. He does pick the positional route. a6, bishop g2, knight f6, castle, rook e1. He takes on c6 and just plays e5. Very interesting the way Wang Hao played against Andreykin, because black hardly made an active move. And this is a Sicilian. Black's strategy was wrong in this game. Rook d8, queen f3, knight d5, h4. Really nice positional game here. You look at this position with black and you don't really want to be a Sicilian player here. White is in charge. Last year he faced the dragon once against Rauf Mamedov, bishop e3, f3, queen d2, a Yugoslav attack, and Mamedov went d5, and in that game he played queen e1, going into a very heavy theoretical debate. He faced the classical Sicilian ones against Ding Liren back in China, bishop g5, Richter Rouser, the critical test against the classical queen d2, castle queenside f4, bishop e2, bishop f3, a nice way to play. He faced the French 3 times, d4 always, and knight c3 3 out of 4 times. And after knight f6, he's played e5 and bishop g5. I want to look at e5 because there was a nice positional game coming up, because he played knight ce2 rather than the main line being f4. c5, c3, knight c6, f4, and knight f3, bishop e3, and after this, it's quite a nice little idea. He takes on c5, put the knight on g3, gets ready to castle kingside. With a knight on g3, you're saying the knight on c5 can't come in? So yeah, new idea, never seen this before. Bishop e2 coming soon, and then we're going to castle kingside. So he won a nice game against Romanian GM Lupulescu. Also against the French, after knight f6, he went a bishop g5 in one game. Take, take, knight d7, knight f3, h6, take, take, bishop h4. Funnily enough, this was against Lupulescu as well. This game ended in a draw, but this game took place before the other game. Last year, Wang Hao has not faced a bishop b4, so I won't look into this in this video. Against the Caruana, he's played knight c3 twice, and going for a main line, he's played e5 once, winning a nice game against Andrei Esipenko, Russian player, 26-24, in the FIDE Grand Swiss. This is the tournament in which Wang Hao qualified for the candidates. He played a nice game against the advanced. Knight d2, knight b3, and after take, giving up the bishop pair, but black is ahead in development at the moment. But white does have the bishop pair, and later on he won a nice positional game. Just want to go through a few of the moves, because I've noticed this about Wang Hao. He really does prefer the positional route. Knight b3, and really we're coming in on the dark squares. Bishop c5, and it just looks really nice the way black's position was building. He faced a center counter just once last year, knight c3 with d4, and with this kind of setup, going bishop d2. Knight h4, cool move, getting the bishop pair, and then, after winning it, he castles queenside and later on went on to win a nice game, gaining space on the kingside. This was against a 25-26 grandmaster, Megaranto. Next up, let's look at d4. Wang Hao has played this 28 times out of 110 white games last year. d4, the next interesting point to mention is after knight f6, c4. Let's have a look what he does against g6. He's faced this 8 times, and after knight c3, bishop g7, e4. Mainline King's Indian, and he played a nice game against Firouzja last year. Positional setup, bishop e2, bishop g5. And after c5, d5, e6, knight f3, h6, this became quite a positional game. Knight h5, knight d2. Black is a bit weak around the king, and after this break, take, take, dropped the knight back to e3, and Wang Hao later went on to win a nice game. It looks like if he knows his opponent will be a Grunfeld player, Wang Hao goes g3, like he did against David Howell, c6, bishop g2, d5, knight f3, and after dc4, this was his game against Rothstein. Castle, bishop g7, a4, knight c3, knight d6, e4, this complex middle game battle. c4 he doesn't play often, so I'm not going to say anything about it. Knight f3, he's played a few times, and after d5, g3. Knight f6, bishop g2, e6, castle, bishop e7. And after d4, we see some sort of transposition. So that is Wang Hao's white repertoire. He's mainly an e4 player, 60 times. d4 he's played a few times. And overall, I get the feeling he's a very positional player.